Hello, everyone. This is Luiza at Georgia Gives on Giving Tuesday Team Lead. And today we are very excited to show you our newly refreshed and updated resources page. So how do you get to it? It's pretty easy. You go to our website and you scroll down, you hit on our nonprofit tab and you click on resources. And here's our new page, newly designed page. So I'll take you through all of the different places where you can find informative resources. The first thing I recommend, though, before you explore the page is make sure you sign up for our emails. You can click that link, put your information in, and hit submit to make sure that you get our emails. We'll be sending out these resources week over week slowly so that everybody can get a chance to look through it and not get too overwhelmed. But if you are a DIYer and you want to explore it on your own, this is the place, right? So this main page here is going to give you more of an overview. We have a video where I go through the overview of Georgia Gives. There's also some planning guidance, including a planning tips video. We have a planning timeline checklist, and then two great planning resources is the Getting Ready for Giving Tuesday workbook from the Giving Tuesday team, and then our friends from GiveMN have a great guide to mastering fundraising campaigns. So these are great places to start. But if you're ready to go a little bit further, we have different topic landing pages for the big topics, right, for Georgia Gives. And that includes platform how-tos. So as most of you know, georgiagives.org. The website is actually run off of the Mighty Cause fundraising platform. So this has a lot of instructions on setting up your profile page, really going from the basics to, quote, more advanced things. Everything is pretty intuitive, so don't be too afraid. It's actually pretty easy if you are used to being, using digital tools, which at this point, most of us are. We'll then also go through a fundraising page, which gives you lots of tools and tips on different fundraising resources. And then, of course, a marketing toolkit, which actually goes through a lot of communication and digital best practices. Before I jump to those, I will then also just reiterate down here that when it comes to reaching out to us, there are two different routes. If you are having technical questions about the platform itself, go ahead and reach out to that Mighty Cause support team at support@mightycause.com. They also have a self-service support center. There's probably a question or your questions can get answered probably first here if you want to get a quicker answer. But if you have anything campaign related, reach out to us at team@georgiagives.org. Okay, great. So other than, like I said, that planning overview page, let's dive into our different topic landing pages. So like I mentioned, Georgia Gives is powered by Mighty Cause, and we have a few sections here depending where you are. First off, if this is your first campaign or you haven't been looking at it for a minute, this is the place to start out. It's got everything from the basics of claiming your profile if you haven't done that yet, adding or removing account admins. We know there's turnover with who manages that every year. This is the place to go for figuring out how to do that. Other things like resetting your page metrics. You want to show your 2023 campaign goals, not from previous years. And then there's other things like basic cleanup items like hiding maybe pages from other years or navigating your dash. So this is the place to go if you're starting out. If you're beyond that starting out phase, what is the next step is really setting up your donation page. And there's just a lot of different easy ways to do that. We have an article here on how to make your profile page awesome. And a lot of the time, the dashboard will guide you through the things that you need to do. And it's basic things like adding a logo, adding a background page, adding some content to the page so that when people find your page, there's some information on it, right? It looks like someone is managing a page, not that it's just a generic page that was created based on the fact that you have a 501c3. There's also ways to customize it. This is like a little bit more advanced. If you already have a page from last year, you want to take it up a notch, you can learn that here. Sometimes we have organizations reach out about updating their name and address. This is the place to figure that out. Another important element is your disbursement settings. So you can set up direct deposit so that you don't get a actual mailed check to you, and actually you get the money faster. So this is how to manage that. I mentioned it before, but you can add a goal and a progress bar. This is a great way to keep folks engaged, because every time they go on the page throughout the day, that is going to be updating as online donations come in automatically. Then there's some other advanced tools here too, like a text to give feature, some third-party app integration. So this is like, if you want to go a little bit above and beyond, there's some advanced tips on here as well. Then in addition to your profile page, some other pieces that we recommend if you have the time to look into. Some of this is maximizing your SEO. And what this could mean is just how can you be found, other ways that you can be found, right? And one of these is, users can search organizations in different ways. And one of them is by the type of category you're in. So you can make sure that you are included in all the categories that your nonprofit serves. You also can have maybe alternative names for how people search for your organization. If there's an acronym or other names, variations, you can add those here. You also can customize your URL, so it's easier to, instead of it being a generic maybe code or something, you can customize that. So, these don't take a lot of time, but could definitely help in bringing more people to your page. Just as important is the user experience. We might not always put ourselves on the donor side when it comes to some of this, but important, easy to do. Definitely when it comes to defining the checkout flow, what's the form look like, making sure there's a thank you message and they get a receipt. Sometimes we will get donors asking for that. And then you can also add some volunteer pledges, questions to your donation form. So give this a read through if you are curious about some of these offerings. And then finally, if you want more, there is always more. So we included here a lot of different resources that our good friends at Mighty Cause have. There's that support center, there's a resource center. They have a lot of great ebooks, and there's a link to the library, as well as recordings of their webinars. They have some video tutorials and how-tos, and then of course their email for reaching to them for any questions of support. So yeah, this is our platform how-to page, updated and refreshed. So hopefully it can answer most, if not all, of your questions. After that, we're going to go and hit up the fundraising page. So obviously, this is such an important part of Georgia Gives. So again, if you're beginning, we definitely recommend checking out these two workbooks from Giving Tuesday and from the GiveMN team. If you want to go a little bit more piecemeal, there's these great 15 creative fundraising ideas for nonprofits, as well as if you missed it last year, we had an AMA session for GCN members, and this is a little highlight from that. So that's a really great way of just getting some of the either questions we get asked and seeing those answers, or just some of the advice we give for organizations that is probably still valuable today. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper into learning more about fundraising strategy, there is Mighty Cause always offers a webinar schedule, and they also have pre-recorded content, so you can go there. Or we recommend some training. So as most of you know, Georgia Gives is run by the team here at the Georgia Center for Nonprofits. And we obviously have an entire training arm called Nonprofit University. And so here is a link to all of the fundraising and development classes and courses and certificates that are coming up, including a certificate of digital fundraising that I think starts in October. So here is a link directly to that. Next, in terms of, I think, fundraising expertise, one of the most important pieces that we talk about year after year is peer-to-peer fundraising. This is a huge tool and form of online fundraising. And it basically, instead of it being the org doing all of the heavy lifting, it relies on your big supporters reaching out to their network. So you're just exponentially growing your reach. It doesn't matter, you know, if this is your first time or your 10th time, there's a lot here to gain from doing it. So I recommend, you know, testing it. And here are some great resources to learn how to do that. We have an introduction. We have an overview of the tools. We have lots of tips and different resources for you to get a sense easily of what it is. I mean, ultimately, right, you might be just creating, not just updating the content on your page, your organization's page, but you basically would help or ask your supporters. You would recruit some supporters. It could be 1, it could be 5, it could be 10, to create individual profile pages. Easy to do. You know how to do that through doing it on your organization's profile, but it mainly includes, you know, uploading content, be that visuals, so pictures, as well as some content. And usually it's great if you have some folks speaking in their own tone because it's their own page, and the page would fundraise on behalf of the organization. So they can use that link to be their own profile page supporting the cause. And it's really easy to do, easier said than done. So here's some tips. Definitely check this out. Like I mentioned, if you want to go a little bit deeper into this, there is that certificate of digital fundraising starting in October from Nonprofit University. This is a great way to just kick off that if you are interested in doing so. Here are then some platform tools regarding fundraising. There are multiple ways to raise funds on the platform, right? Like I mentioned, so there's actually different platform built-in team and events features. So these are pages that, in addition to your organization page, that are set up to help you fundraise depending on your goals. So for example, if you have several people fundraising on your behalf, you can have a team page that consolidates all their information. So you can actually do some gamification and get, say, board members to compete to see who can raise the most, and that team page will show just the amount raised for those profiles. Or if you're having an event that is part of Georgia Gives, you can also have a page regarding that event on the platform. So there's a lot of information here, including guides, how these specific pages work. And then once you have teams and or an event set up, you can actually share some of these guides here with your key stakeholders to explain to them how to actually participate. So definitely take a look at this. And if you haven't already, this links to our platform how-to page that we just reviewed. Another big part of Georgia Gives and the platform and its capability is matching grants. This is a great way to double your impact. And we know from studies that donors are more likely to give when they know that their dollar is going to go further. So these are some resources we have, including a webinar and a tip sheet on how to get matching grants. And then also a resource here on how to add that to your organization's page, so it's broadcast on your page. So definitely check this out if that is something that you're interested in. And then finally, when it comes to fundraising, last but not least, it's important to think about donor retention, right? We know that first-time donors who receive the thank you within 48 hours are 4 times more likely to give again. It's easier to retain than it is to recruit brand new. That's true in fundraising. That's true in marketing and sales. So the platform has different ways and tools that you can access to help you with that, including how to access and manage your donor retention report, how to say thank you to donors, how to, the creative side as well as the platform side. So definitely take a look at this. I think it's a nice way to finish off your campaign so that next time it's easier. You're not starting from scratch. You're always building. All right, so now let's go and check out, last but not least, our marketing toolkit. Here is where we really do talk about not just channel best practices, but creative best practices. I think getting that Georgia Gives message out is important, but also, can be overwhelming. So we have a ton of great new content and resources to help you. First and foremost, our brand new Georgia Gives campaign marketing guide. This is a great document. It's got some campaign best practices. It has tips on how to communicate your mission, as well as some social and email best practices and sample ideas and examples. So this is a great place to take either you or your marketing folks to, not start from scratch, get some inspiration. We also have links to some of our popular webinars. I love these. These are still so relevant, including a storytelling best practices webinar we did a few years ago. We had our marketing and PR teams on here, and it really does a great job in telling the story, as well as a creating compelling content webinar we did with Jennifer Camacho, previously from WSB, and now who has her own content company called Plot My Story. She talks about just great tips on how to create compelling content from a video and image perspective. So great content to take a look at if you have the time. But we also know that a lot of organizations leverage our assets. So this is where to go to make sure you make your campaign look great. We have a new resource on how to do some best practices regarding graphics. And then of course, we have a link to our 2023 graphics and logos. So you can use these. It links to Canva so you can edit or download and use it update it with your own logo and use it across your channel. This is also where we link to the Canva for nonprofits. So organizations get, I think, premium features for free. So definitely take a look at this and make sure that you get this tool, because a lot of if you have it, then you can more easily use our graphics and logos. Or if that's not what you're looking for, there's also an Adobe Express for nonprofits. So if you're more of an Adobe user, you can check this out, this tool out, and use it for not just Georgia Gives, but beyond. And then here's just a quick video on how to edit and share Canva templates. Our graphics, like I mentioned, are saved on Canva so that it's not, it's editable. So this kind of explains how to edit and share those templates. So it's a short video. Definitely take a look at it. And so we are back here to our landing page, and we've gone through the basics. We've gone through platform, how-to, some fundraising help, as well as our marketing toolkit. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of a tour of all the great content and resources that we have for you this year. And we would love to hear what you think about it. And hopefully it allows you to have the most successful year yet. So good luck, and thanks for tuning in. Talk soon. Bye.